All right, folks, welcome back here for another movie review. We're in live. That's why we're standing here right now. We just got out of the theater, checked out Jordan Peele's new film, Nope, which is going to be releasing this Friday in theaters, July 22nd. Terrell and Lucas to my right here. Gentlemen, what do you think about the movie?
Loved it, absolutely loved it. Still trying to figure out what the hell was going on as I leave the theater, but I definitely enjoyed this next entry in his saga of films. Well, I guess you wouldn't say saga, but his films.
There you go.
There you go. You're going to hold it like you're interviewing me. That's what I'm talking about here. I am not an overly big fan of it. It's a rehash of, felt like a Twilight Zone episode, but with great sound mixing and cinematography.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I was a fan of the Twilight series. While a lot of people was on Black Mirror, I was like, Twilight is absolutely kind of killing it on the low. It was on CBS before it went to Paramount Plus, so it didn't get a lot of attraction because CBS All Access was like very exclusive. Had to pay top dollar for like limited content and whatnot. But no, I did like it. I think the biggest things I liked about the film was the score. I think Michael Abels and Jordan have been working together for his last few projects, so I think they got chemistry. And I thought he wonderfully scored this again. And I thought the visuals was really well, which was probably easily the best part of the film. Just the visuals, the landscape, the scenery, the mesh of practical and CGI I thought was done really well, especially with this flying saucer thing kind of going on here where that easily can make a film look kind of wonky, but I thought it meshed together pretty well. And then I thought the performances were singly good. There was times where I felt like the cast together on screen was a little awkward. I did not think that Stephen Yeun could act Jason, I'm about to call him Jason, Daniel in certain scenes, which was it was a little awkward. And I don't know if it's just because I didn't process that scene the way I wanted it to, or maybe it wasn't like relayed to me the way it should have been. I don't know, but for whatever reason, Stephen Yeun was just like, I felt like his limited time on screen was like a little bit like on another level than Daniel at times.
I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Like in his scenes with Steven, it's like at times he's acting circles around everyone in the room with him.
Yeah.
He is on point in this movie
Yeah.
to a T where you would expect from a bigger actor than him to be able to do this to Keke, who's great in this film.
Yeah.
And Daniel, and one is kind of surprising that Daniel's the weakest one in the film.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what you were saying earlier. Like the chemistry between, I think, just the family of Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, and the whole whatever with Keith David is their father in the movie. I think Daniel taking a step back as far as like the way he was acting in the movie is a testament to like his character, like how his character is kind of a little bit standoffish, kind of like when they introduce him, he's just like the dutiful son. You know what I mean? He's in there to do a job, and so he doesn't really have a lot to say. He's just like, hey, I'm just trying to get the job done. I'm trying to keep this family legacy going. So as we've seen him in other movies, how he is able to outact a lot. He should be outacting everybody on screen. His character takes him a step back from everybody else. He's not as involved in the story as, like you said, Stephen Yeun, who has a colorful background in this movie and should have, a little bit more, I guess pizzazz, as far as acting towards everybody else. But like you said, the visuals was nice. I really enjoyed the shots of the clouds, man. They wanted to make sure that you got really nice shots of clouds. Like everything looked nice, whether they were CG or real. Like you said, the ship, like you said, looking a little wonky towards that, and like other things looked really good. Like you said, the score itself, the music, the opportunity that we had to see it in IMAX, I think also helped because just seeing everything just so spacious and with those space scenes looked really good on that format for sure.
Yeah, I also just to kind of add to that, I thought in terms of the color grading with that, because there were some scenes where they were very low light, and then there was scenes where they were low light, but yet actually pretty bright scenes. They were night scenes, but kind of pretty bright. So I thought the color grading was done really well as well. And like again, just the visuals and everything with the visuals, the aesthetics and everything, I thought was done pretty good.
I think what stands out the most is that we brought up sound, we've brought up visuals, we brought up isolated performances. The film at times feel is too big for the scope that it's trying to give you. So it kind of sucks in the story. But if you're somebody who accustomed to, that's why I compare it to a Twilight Zone episode. If you're accustomed to that, you're going to get episodes that were grand in scope. And while grand in scope, while good that it even attempted to do so, is not always executed the best way. So you got to pay way more attention to the little other aspects in it. And here it is. The sound, the cinematography was just amazing in it. Again, Keke giving a great performance, Steven giving a great performance. Daniel attempting to do something different with the role, I'm going to say, of him being the stoic person, and he's not necessarily an actor that pulls off stoic well. He's way more in the quiet emotion of his character, and here you didn't even get that much, but I don't think it was supposed to be that for his character. So that's the things that draw back. It's so big in scope that it misses the mark, but it still gives you things for you to enjoy.
Something else I want to add too, because when I think about Daniel's performance, I start to think about one of my unfavorite genres in westerns, and at a point this film kind of turns into that. It becomes sort of like the lone cowboy to save his family, save the ranch, save the world, and these shots really cater towards it kind of feeling like a western. So like, you start to see that sort of persona on his character, but like that's not really the hat he's wearing the entire time. And actually I like to think that the film kind of bounces around a couple of different genres in this. I felt like it was a western towards the end. I felt like about the 40-minute mark of the film, it was really hitting on the horror genre. And then in the beginning, I mean, you could almost call it a murder mystery because you did not know what happened. You were kind of wondering, like, what is this, unknown object that is attacking horses, that are attacking people, and things are falling from the sky. So like, it bounced around a little bit. And I think, for all the, hardcore Jordan Peele fans, I think that, this isn't the film where you're just like, hey, put your think hat on, trying to grain your idea of the message and all the symbolic imagery and all that other stuff going on. I don't think it's any of that at all. But again, I don't think that this film is just sitting in one box. I think it does play around in a couple of different genres, a couple of different thoughts. Like you said, a big granular idea that they're trying to hit on all of them. And maybe it's his recipe of saying like, hey, go watch it a few times and kind of try to figure out what you make of this and whatnot. But I just want to make sure that like it's very clear that like in terms of his previous films such as Get Out and Us, I don't feel like it's following that same recipe. I don't feel like it's a trilogy. I don't feel like they're interconnected. I don't even feel like, and I can confirm that they're not even all three the same genre. So like, this is just another separate idea with a bunch of ideas, it seems like, within it, and so on. So, again, for me, for my piece of this film, I visually love this film. The plot and what I was intrigued about this film about a year ago when the trailer dropped, the execution of that kind of like meh to that. And then much like Lucas said, the isolated performances and whatnot, the particular parts of the film structure I thought was good. Just whipping it all up for a beautiful cake, I would not call it just that. So, pretty much a high mid entertaining film.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's, if you ever wanted Jordan Peele to play in M. Night's sandbox, this is the film for you to watch. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in M. Night is known for doing films with grand scopes to them.
Yeah.
And that's something that Jordan, his first two films were films with messages in them. And one was a comedy to me, and one was closer to the horror genre. And now he's like, okay, let's try this with a Western. sci-fi mixture and see what we get.
Yeah.
It really reminded me a lot of Signs at points and times of this film. That's why I said him playing in M. Night's wheelhouse, which is a good thing because I think Jordan wanted to give someone a straightforward movie, so you all could stop trying to find hidden messages and things.
Yeah, definitely teeter those expectations before you go into this movie.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do nothing but just destroy yourself, coming out of it, and you're going to be mad at yourself for expecting something that was never there in the first place. Like you said, this is a Twilight Zone. There's nothing to do with anything else. Just go and enjoy it, and don't think about any of those other movies before you go see this.
Yeah, folks, and if you haven't seen Twilight Zone, then Black Mirror is where you're playing at here. So one or the other.
Daniel and Black Mirror.
Yeah.
His character is very similar to this one and this one in his approach to the role.
Yeah.
Which would make sense for him to do it that way. And then you got you're going to this movie to go see Keke Palmer put on
Keke.
one of the best performances in a sci-fi film in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
She's a superstar that people have not acknowledged that she's a superstar.
Having a good year, by the way,
something
already.
of this nature will help people finally see, like, Kiki's a force, and she's a force in this film.
Absolutely. But yeah, folks, definitely check this film out. I know it's been one of the most highest anticipated films of 2022. You can check it out this Friday in theater, July 22nd. Once you do, come back in the comments and let us know your thoughts about the film, some of your favorite scenes, all that other good stuff. And as always, stay tuned for more movie reviews very soon.